mbokki Gambia maa ngi leenu nuyób jàmm nuyób yërmande nuyób barke yéen a ngi déglu AG radio si askani Gambia newspaper seeni mbokka Saliu Njaay ñoo am mbégte gu mag dellu suwaat fii di waxtaan ak yéen bési tey bi dal di tolloog bésub àllarba ñaar fukki fan si weerub November atum 2024 comme nan ko gën a xamee rek si kàllaama angale tey la Wednesday the 20th of November 2024 waxtaani tey bi comme nan tàmmee di ko def rek dañuy dem si néegi député yi dal di fa tànn kenn si député yi dal di def waxtaan ak moom mbokkay waxtaan am na solo ndax Olof Njaay wax na ne aca ñu def ko joo gis aca ñu waxtaanee ko moo war a jiitu te su fekkee ne dafa am ñun ñoo xam ne suñ biir dañ leen tànn ba doylu leen dañ leen ebal si néegi député yi bon war nañoo xam liggéeyin fa nekkee ñoom itam baax na ñu dal di xam ñun itam ni ñuy xalaatee lii lépp du mun a am su fekkee ne waxtaanun si biir waxtaan si la lépp a dal di xëcc lii mooy li waral saa yu nekk rek ñu dal di dem si néegi député yi tànn fa kenn dal di def waxtaan ak ñoom tey nag ñoo leen fi amal suñ gan goo xam ne moom itam si néegi député yi lay liggéey nekk koo xam ne kii du gan te du jàmbur si biir Gambian yi kooku mooy Honourable Lamin J Sanneh moom mooy National Assembly member bu Brikama South moom mooy député bi nga xam ne moo toogal Brikama South foofa si néegi député yi mooy di chairman of the Standing Committee on Public Enterprise ba pare mu nekk a member of Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Gambian Diaspora ba pare nekk na koo xam ne kii tamit a member of Standing Committee on Public Petition ba pare dal di nekk a member of Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development si yi bunta yépp mu ngi fay yëngatu waaye su waxtaan bi gënee yaatu dinañu jox ab jàngat ak la nga xam ne mooy liggéeyam ak lam fa nekkee waaye bala ñoo dem jëli suñ gan gi rek mbokka yi nen leen jël Gambia dugal ko si suñ biir xel ak suñ biir xol ndax Olof Njaay wax na ne fekkee ma si boole ñun yàlla def ñu fekkee bi jamaano ba tax na warugal bépp doomi Gambian la ñuy yëngu si lépp loo xam ne lu yóbbu Gambia kanam la su dee lu ñoo wax ñu wax ko su dee lu ñoo binda ñu binda ko su dee lu ñoo dox ñu dox ko ine gi yépp dafa war a nekk loo xam ne lu yóbbu Gambia kanam la mbokk yi ne leen xoolaat suñ réew mi ndax réew mi ni muy demee dëgga jaaxal na ñu bari réew la ko mën a yóbbu kanam ñaar donga leen ak réew mu mun a doon benn dindi fi lépp loo xam ne mooy gàllankoori réew mi ñaar dal di ko remplacer ak lépp loo xam ne mooy njëriñi réew mi den war a xoolaat seetaat gestuwaat gàllankoori réew mi si mbépp fànna te leen war a xoolaat seetaat gestuwaat li koy saafaraal si mbépp anam ngir réew mi suxale ko réew mi taxaw réew mi mun a naat Gambia mun a yegga ñun ñëpp fan bugga mu dal di yegga réew mi mun a dem nga xam ne lu tuuti la ñuy puus rek réew mi dal di dem ndax Gambia réew moo xam ne la barke buur yàlla moo njëkk a jiitu ñaani ñiti diina yi toppa booleeg ñaani maam yi ndax ñun sa dëgga dara manqué wuñu te dara jombuñu te lépp loo xam ne lu nit aajowoo la pour réewi Gambia mun a dem kanam buur yàlla may nañu ko ba noppi ay géej yu nangu ak la sa biiram suuf su naat ak la sa biiram teg si dolli buur yàlla may ñu xel rek koom-koom yi boppam la bon suñ jëlee suñ xel mi xelli ko nas ko ñaw ko daas ko nàmma ko binda ko waxtaanee ko jàngale ko ak di ko jëfoo dinañu jural ay njëriñ yoo xam ne suñ njorta sax musu fa woon a yegga waaw ñun Gambia lu tax ñu dal di am xéewal yëpp ba noppi waaye ban tey mënu na lijjanti suñ réew bu ñu xoolee mbéy mi nappa wérgu yaram dëkkuwaay dundu gu seer ut liggéey yu jafe école yu seer garab yu seer kër yu seer tilim corruption mbalit mi ndox mi ak courant yuy kamaj-kamaji sa dëgga nit ñi bégun de te sa dëgga nit ñi dese nañoo kontaan bon ana lan mooy saafara si xanaa duñ def lu dut dal di dem jëli ki nga xam ne mooy sun gan di Lamin J Sanneh Honourable Lamin J Sanneh maa ngi lay nuyu di la sant di la gërëm di la jox sa wàccuwaay ba mat sëkk di la yaatal te di la dalal fii si AG radio fi mu nekk ma dal di la mee rek nga dal di nuyuwante suñ déglukat yi mun ngaa laaka bu la neex mun ngaa laaka mandinka mun ngaa laaka olof mun ngaa laaka angale bugge naa yomba yow rek na nekk laaka bu Gambia ni comprend.
Okay, jërëjëf Mr. Njai. First of all, I want to seize this opportunity to extend a warm greeting to all the listeners all over the world, especially the Gambian for that matter, and viewers all over the world. I will tell you once again, Assalamu alaikum to each and every one of you. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here to discuss pertinent issues confronting our country. Irrespective of where we are all Gambian and we have a common denominator, so the supreme interest of the country should be protected. So I'm very much happy and proud for me to be invited to Askan Gambian Radio, especially you, Mr. Njai, and the senior executive. I really appreciate the gesture, and that is why I tried everything humanly possible to meet this particular time and talk to one another, discuss things together, and craft a strategic approach in making the Gambia the actual haven in the world. So thank you so much. My regards to everybody.
Jërëjëf Honourable Lamin Sanneh. Honourable Sanneh, ma buga la laaj rek. I know that so many people know Lamin Sanneh. We used to see you in the TV, especially in the parliament. Why dama la buga laaj rek si ñi la xamut ana kan mooy Lamin J Sanneh? Who is Lamin J Sanneh for those who do not know you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Njai. I think this is a pertinent question. Anyway, I am Lamin J Sanneh, born and brought up in Brikama South. I'm a native of Sanneh. This is where I was born, and I was schooled in Brikama. After the nursery schooling, I was enrolled in Brikama Primary School, where I sat the common entrance. Then I proceeded to Muslim High School, and I completed in 98. After the completion of 98, I was enrolled into GTCI in collaboration with Okanagan University of Canada to go in for a postgraduate program for development studies. After which I was also enrolled to Child Fund International, then it was called Christian Children Fund, because people know the Child Fund as CCF. But the idea of CCF came immediately after the First World War, when China was destroyed. The idea emanated from a preach in America to support the Chinese children. So it became Chinese Children Fund until 1939 to 1945, the outbreak of the Second World War. Concentration was shifted to Japan. Japan was seriously destroyed, and they extend the gesture to help the Japanese children as well. But Japan refused to take the name Chinese children, and Chinese was changed to Christian in order to maintain the sea alignment. Eventually, it became Christian Children until this early 2000. A consultant was hired to look at the name. Even with the name Christian doesn't necessarily mean that the promoting Christian, because it's non-religious, non-partisan. And this is a sponsorship program that look at vulnerable children that are living in abject poverty with their parents. You take care of them in terms of helping them to build their capacity academically. So we provide tuition fees, learning and educational material, and community support, related community support. So communities are put in a form of clusters. So I worked for that institution for 17 good years, and 2017 I became a member of parliament After in the fifth legislature, so 2017 to 2022, I went for the election, and I'm almost fortunate to be part of the sixth legislature. This is my second term. So this is Lamin J, and again, I'm known in the land and bread of West Coast because I'm also a youth and a sport activist. Definitely, I was a football enthusiast. I was among the founding fathers of Brikama United, which I hold a managerial position up to first division, and I led the Brikama zonal team to a trophy in 2009. We became champions against Bakau. So this was some of the things I went through. Then in my child phone work, I operate within Combo Central District, so that covered my constituency and the neighboring. So this is Lamin J, and I also underwent a lot of these professional courses, but this is who I am now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Sanneh. Honourable Sanneh, just for the sake of fair and balance, ndax li nga wax di ko mëna summarize in Mandinka pour buga tamit sun nit ñi mëna comprendre li nga xamne mom nga wax mu nga ko summarize rek in Mandinka. Ngo Honourable Sanneh mun nga gene mute bi yaangi mute.
Mbe bading la be kontona mbe Gambia and outside the Gambia, and we fana they have an opportunity for ka jube fana mbel be kontona. Now konton senal antelom Honourable Lamin J, Brikama Sanakunda Development, there is the Indian Brikama South. So Malco kontona Maltendula je Wuluta Brikama I've never stayed anywhere other than Brikama. I'm from school from nursery level to Brikama Primary School. From Brikama Primary School, I went to Muslim High School. From a complete then I went to GTI in partnership with Okanagan University. Then after postgraduate, then another professional course attended IT and sort of. So then another local child phone international as a social worker. Another local Combo Central, Brikama and the surrounding. Another demand Mojama, but the funding killer will push come and sport, particularly footballer. From managing my club fund at committee level, then there was a demand for a join Brikama Youth and Sport Association. So I was part of the committee, question Jamal Marabe. Then I was fortunate to that Kafoto Brikama United Law, and then to get a force manager from second division to first division. So the same time when I Brikama zonal manager during my tenure, and I used to do commissioning. I was part of FA organizing committee until the committee for a certain period. So Mbal Tentula Mbal Jaila ni Lamin J for Brikama South.
Jerejef, Honourable Lamin Sanneh. Honourable, if I may ask, what inspired you to join politics, and how did you end up joining the UDP? Let me repeat this in Wolof also. Lan moo tax nga dal di dugga ci politics, ak lan nga gis ci UDP ba tax nga dal di bokka ci UDP? Mun nga tontu in Mandinka or in English?
Thank you, Mr. Njai. This is an important question. First, let me give you background in India. It's in connection to politics. To be honest, I hail from Brikama South. My mother is from Bojankunda and Sumakunda, so all these communities I'm connected to. But in Kumara Bagan, little family, both Barinkunda and in Fakunda, political house long. Yes, Tona. PPP central place in Brikama after the former chief Sanjani Boja. They were the founding fathers of PPP, and he personally identified President Jawara. Jawara first from Untola Solokono, and the Mamalakasi, sometimes a killer. To an extent that Sanakunda became the forefront, and PPP was very central in Brikama Sanakunda. Even the grandmother Ajanjai, Jawara took them to UK, Buckingham Palace, to meet with Elizabeth and great grandfather Sheikh Basani. both of them were taken to UK, and they had a meeting with Elizabeth. So J generally in my father's line is purely PPP. But when you come to on the modern side, my granny and uncles were there with NCP. In fact, Silva based Silva Mustafa Deba, the NCP based. And in fact, my granny class of Modiba to have NCP bureau in Brikama. So eventually, I was looking at this up to 92 election, presidential election, whereby some of the members from the like former chief Debo Kalenda, who eventually defected from NCP to PPP. And that ceremony was done in the presence of the former vice president, the then vice president Sheikh Sabali, President Jawara. They were all there. Though at that time, Dr. Abidjale, we are looking at things, but we don't reach to the election proper to vote in an election, what moment age of consent. So after that, Brikama has what Brikama Youth Action Movement Group, which we are small but part of that group. Dolary Volta known to go against buying of water during Yassi was the Minister for Local Government. That already saved the Gambia from buying water then. So eventually the APRC junta took over the country in 94. Then I was a student in Muslim high school. They justify by buying of the water, and the step we took. They came personally up to Brikama. We met at the field. The entire 5 council members. The so eventually it became then until during the issue of the transition matter, that also marked with the forming of UDP. And when UDP formed, they contacted Usainu Dago. Then he was outside, he came, he went and discussed with the family, they agreed, but they asked him to try political father in Combo, particularly Brikama. Then political father happened to be my own grandfather, the late Kabasane. So, and this is how the majority Kabasane also was a council member, the Council of Elders of Brikama. Sanada Kachata, Kachata, Bulunda, Kebali, Abudago, Bulunda, we are talking about Council of Elders, including our late Imam Karamuture, who is my in-law. So, they get a part of it. So, automatically I became a part. So, 1996, even though I was a student, and the subsequent parliamentary election in 1997, when my coaching brother contested was Ajane, I was also a polling agent. So this is how I became a member. But coming I concentrated in our football administration. So this is how I got the liking for politics. And brother Rafana, up to this last presidential 2016 revolution, I was part of the people who they contributed in supporting the coalition, particularly the idea of bringing President Adama Barrow. This was very, very important. I think I remember the day of our primary when we were coming with delegates. A lot of things has happened behind the scene, and the politics played in order for him to win against the other contestant was also good. So this is how I became a part. When he won with my my twin brother, because they call him my twin brother, that's Honourable Dabo. He is in Brikama North, I'm in Brikama South. But we were together during our days of football, sports, administration. He was the secretary, I was managing here and there. So the same, we are into politics and no Pigamal discourse. So when that time came, Alaji initially was supposed to be a minister for youth and sport. But in the advent of the party leader for GPDP, so when Henry Collins came back, another Bangkok, and he was a Alapati participator, Saja, Jaju and others were on the ground to do all those agreement and study. So when he also came, as a party leader, he should be given the ministerial position. So President Barrow found Alaji advice to go and become a member of parliament, so as a majority leader at Yala. And eventually, then initially I was not interested to leave my office and join and become a member of my, but there was a demand. More young people like former chairman, Aladi and others. In fact, Aladi has to go to a certain level to make sure that I came back. Already, there are a lot of applicants for Brikama South, but when I finally agreed, I applied, most of them declined, except 3. So we have to discuss, then we go in for primary. I won all the election. It's only one guy who got 1 vote. The rest, the other guy, my friends, so all the people voted for me. And this is how I became a member of a candidate. Then we went for the election. I contested with 5 people. With my own cousin brother who contested for APRC ticket. And if you look at Brikama South, it's 2 words, Suba ward and Marakisa ward. Suba ward is purely Brikama. I have no problem with that. But Marakisa ward then was seriously APRC dominated area. But I was able to win with a margin of 1,755 votes in the 2017 April parliamentary election. And this is how I continue to partake in serious politics as a serious politician. Journey to how I became a politician. Mr. Jai.
Thank you so much, Honourable Lamin Sanneh. Fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si panelist yi ma dal di ko tàmbale si Apply Sanyang. Apply jot nga dégg li nga xam ne moom la fi Honourable Lamin J Sanneh jot a waxagum ma bugg a xam rek ban laajte nga ko amal.
Thank you, Alai Saliu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ma la nuyu Mr. Sanneh, Honourable, my fellow brothers on the panel, suma mbokki Gambia ni waxtaan comme ni nga ko waxee Alai Saliu. Waxtaan moo ñoo tax ñu déggoo wóoreeroo fu mu nekk ñëpp ci sande kondoon. Mr. Sanneh mbafule mandiga kangola, maybe Alai Saliu sa for in English, or you can say it in English. Mr. Sanneh be kontona back, very happy to have you. Albert represent Gambia nolu taxpayers money nkal jo wala dunia ala fongola ko fonse nyaton ko tombon kono. Ba nyaton ko fanan na karafolo diala pura elo banko dingol la kumbo dato ndo la kumbo da asiat Gambia particularly. Mr. Sanneh naje ete ko be Public Finance Corporation committee nyinkon adleke $30 million atoko aliyo konte aliya di Adama Barrow e cabinet minister soto agriculture, works, telecommunication, all the factors of our living be a ministerial position bijere permanent secretaries alina $30 million sikali adi anabarula kayeta banko murumuru. From Jawara time up to date, Gambians are suffering this consequence. And you go to our hospitals, you go to our roads, ita na si dollar to na labu ngol kono ika fintina bungo kono edu njiyo kono samaya boyta do Gambia be ka float business of be ka close ya Adama Barrow maji atul membo sire bangi ya Gambian ole je menka 3 daily meals soto konto woni sima woni dasamo ali yaji na marsol ka fajiyo la nyame al mo debit no al fon kono bang ko why we should give Adama Barrow $30 million just to go around and make his own phone. I have fun for Gambian only about a party strengthening that. I promise on Mindy Gambian from day one, nothing is solved. Hankabi na deputy old man na kumbo dal jeno $30 million. Yena ikon na Minister of Sports. GFA. Atul bukolo audit bang. Gavi na sidemo suspend 2-3 times. Eko is not up to standard. And Gambia from independence. Only one stadium. Can you give us advice? Makoi, memun na problem with Gambian or nyanta men solve la. First of all. Thank you, sir.
Abarka bake ablay undantela ni karola bake. Follow me, I'll apologize like because panelists will be baby janyan and be condemned. I'm very happy to be here with you. Ablay, you have hit the nail on the head. You get to be very much honest with you, as a country, there are sometimes because what is happening, problem okay, I know the problem is deeply rooted. I'm not going to silent okay, National Assembly Tonya in Bango Sirasta now be for national interest to be more than any other thing. Okay, it is not wrong to come from an opposition end. Opposition is there to flag anomalies. They are like whistleblowers. You push the government I law on a firm footing. Okay, but in process of governance, Gambia, we have multi-party democracy. No one has a political party, no? If you form your political party, it's a president, it has to be based on a very good manifesto, or manifesto about determining who and who should give you their vote. So, and you have a moral responsibility. The moral responsibility is to take the country from point A, B, and Z. As you said, coming from January time up to date, Gambia is still stagnated. We have serious problem. And the side of a problem will be compiled to an extent that it is very, very alarming. But when you come to parliament, because you have different political parties, so most unfortunately, partisanship semo wara je bakele. Okay, ninto nga propose. President we come info. What is wrong? President na few technician eta moto film fula. The bango beya and they talk to the technician. Rather than taking the entire country ka bango beya for nothing. If you can from kaya na manke politics. It's difficult. And to be honest with you, nana je ajibe the opposition MPs very rare ya je ketaje because what is happening? Opposition MPs de la bango ka manke la bango ka tolle along the development gap and everybody in the constituency are talking to them who can report to the parliament and do advocacy on behalf of the constituents and the country at large. But isuti min decision na punata yes we know kajoko government baro government and we have to support Barola agenda kana correct. We find it difficult. So sometimes I can back when you come to the floor of the parliament. We see I can politicize it. Okay, sometimes agree to have laterally, interest. And no interest for sometimes they will go against it. But when come out of they need all the required tools to function as an MP. But no tools of the 30 million is too much, and the president has at least once, but he can even go twice to tour the country and talk to the people. Because the president has representatives, and he has 22 ministers from 22 ministries. Each minister is a policy advisor. It can mean there are new president. This is another way of checking whether the information in is correct or not. That is why you have to go and meet the technician for what is happening, because every month they get a disbursement for a development component and a recurrent component. When you look at the architect and the problem, there is a first-hand information. But when you look at it's unfortunate a part of parliament that government will remember up to eternity. There are positive and there are negative ones. So when you are a nuclear water bag, but means for Gambia, anytime there is a heavy downpour, if we have 40 to 60 millimeter per hour, Gambia will get some money, including Brikama South. For my own compound, I suffer seriously. Floor cutting and ball mingaboya, little picture Brikama South access no. You go to Jeddah, an integral part of Brikama South. It's not notable. Nanyamba you go now. So the problem in baby J, Marche Fangono Molka avoid it. Set them because what happened, highway don't construct without drainage system and a culvert. Often a problem don't kill it because the road has taken certain altitude. So the natural flow of Gatano, 5 terminal mola like a boy, especially in the home cemetery area. So you know problem will keep, and again, after a government will take home. Don't means on the cost of living and in the source of income among much. When I think the old man how do we bridge that disparity? So Gambia don't the necessary reforming back we look at inward. How do we concentrate in the agriculture the way and in the Kalangami? We are still learned to a way that agriculture will definitely provide the food. So there's still food sufficiency coming for like it. We don't have food manual, the bring the manual because we don't have a banjul man of Niadomasungan. But say you cannot even produce rice. How much are we spending to import rice? Let's invest in agriculture. Tentative embargo put on importation of rice. You see, a lot of farmers in poultry farmers here, but sometimes they are not linked to the market as expected. So you ask a very important question. To be honest with you, Kadiala is unjustifiable, but what happened? Parliament is about the number. Criticize, it will come to the second year and the UDP and it will never something. We are fighting. And it's unfortunate. Gambia politics tata a degree of tribal dimension. We are not going to bring that. Gambia is one country. And we have Bamu Flodi, Bamu Mandan country. So we are intermarried into detail. If you need to talk for B, so Gambia is one. Party politics manyana fudala wodoka tribal differences samana. And when but in the back, another decision making. And the verb they also have a Parliament is the house of politicians, and this is where you talk about every important. Because Ndola go follow is to legislate the law, conduct oversight the executive, because in my side the budget session every minister MDA is coming to look at it. But even our budget is realistic, it is addressing the problem, it is citizen friendly. So in we are looking at it, but it's unfortunate because Nijamako another 30,000 or so, people from my count. The government this is not that because we don't like president. No, nobody hate the president. When the president we are together and no happy that relationship is there. Whether the trend in which is going, our political ideology, we have a counter review. We believe that another model can change this country. So when we don't have go to that, but back sometimes when you come to decision making, imagine the former president, we might know. But management wrong, apply. They can play like in Karo, but Toyota may come from all of it. And the only hope for the Gambian is the National Assembly. So the National Assembly is one way or another politicized. It can be sometimes it's difficult. Instead of coming together and about all the problem address, banana and we use our political. Now, even though this is very good critics, like the budget session of our day, when the president, the minister came to table the budget, it was illegal, and we came out with a point of order. But people try to justify it. Imagine until the minister has to apologize, not to constrain the country, for us to forge ahead and so
thank you so much, Honourable Lamin J Sanneh. Fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Bura Diba. Bura, jot nga dégg li nga xam ne moom la fi Honourable wax, ban laajte nga ko amal?
Assalamu alaikum, Honourable Sanneh, nge kontaan Bura Diba, nge kontaan baken kay nge bismillah ñi platform auto. Yeah, it's good na diamo mix. Sometimes you can use the English language so that the whole of listeners also can understand. So that's no problem, but we are flexible here. We can also use the Mandinka and the English and then mix it with all of, because we want to, accommodate everybody so that every Gambian can understand. So, but interlocution on Banachida in Mandinka, it's a Jabi, Niba Jabi la Fanang Kajile ko, Ika English Fanang, usually the Manding, it's a Nin Paradola Fanang, Isi, it will Fanansa understand. Bao jang don na pele pulling Gambian so banko dingol je diamo jaba kese woto isaje to nyabe daminto mol salon so abaraka bake ngamo ye diamo munyu fo bari kection o minale ngajele ko ibe ni committee munto ni kafol munyu ya ni ko to le National Assembly so ngajele ko ibe ni foreign affairs ibejele and Gambians abroad ibe woto fanale agriculture fanale ibejele. But you know first question wolem ko a big money down force nim budget yemunati jelne nanta tara juli jola jelne nanta tara development la jelne nanta tara salary jola and tamu kake so na kita abi bulu isi ofofo
abaka bura.
Honourable Sanneh, yang mute.
Okay. Abaraka la ni ngaro ni beta bank. It's good budget oni. Tonyalo we went through it Kajube. But follow me observe budget oni to. I'm not very much comfortable with the budget. Because me for the carrying BBB Gambela Gilomin Benna na debt burden is $118 billion. Gambia julomi benna. Okay, 2018-2019, there was a loan that was taken and it was due for debt repayment, but we look for a debt referral, which is what is Juta 2025 and 2026. So Nina Bojodo Jube, out of what we are generating, 11 billion will go for debt services, which is on the higher side. It constitutes 29% of the GDP, 29.9% of the GDP. Okay. Nina Jube Fana, there are significant jumps. Now, compared to 2024 to 2025, which was 42 billion for 2024, this has been increased by 10 billion, size is going to be 52. And primarily, this is coming from tax revenue has been increased by 4 billion. But still, many incremental are they based on a strategic approach? Do we have unique identification number for those revenue lines? So one of the things we consider interestingly, because one of the caring, the revenue line on budget, they are important. Okay, I want you to collect 22 billion from 17 to 22 billion. It's based on what? So it's a money where you definitely think that this is going to be realized. Because budget was the most dangerous thing about budgeting. It's like if you go in for unrealistic budget. Because the finance minister will do the forecast and come out with this figure. We have tax and non-tax revenue. Cumulatively, it goes up to 29 billion. So budget support is about 15 billion. This is in the form of grant and budget support. We call them program and project grant. Then below the item, that is budget deficit, there is going to be 2.65 billion. So which means that is going to be primarily financed through domestic borrowing. And within domestic borrowing, have you ever sit here, imagine Gambia with a very small economy? Why are all the commercial banks coming to the Gambia? That is simply because government is the only player in the market. So private sector involvement must share their back. So what they will do, they sell treasury bill. When treasury bill will powerful, the commercial banks go and buy. At the end of the 1 year, they get their millions without doing anything. So Nintendo as public and private sector, public and private sector driven banks, as citizens of the country, we are talking about title deeds of your company. Your company title, with defaulter they sell your company. The interest rates are very high. So it's only government who can play this role. And the way better because even commercial banks, they have a corporate social responsibility that they should take care of. So what the problem with the is really confronting the Gambia. And that's a major problem. Domestic borrowing should be discouraged completely. No, previously a foreign amortization of the labor, but it has to be paid in foreign currency. Or a problem with when it is going to be due. Inflation on the carry and the way this foreign currency are appreciating against dollars. We'll take a problem only. But near to be financial science, because salary increment, when we talk about salary restructuring, almost 86% of the GLF component means that are bigger than salary. It has a very minimal component of development. But never Jube, they cannot restructure because there's no work, but they can increase 30%. Lowest earners put a 30% and to also increase part of their allowances. But the jump is like we are increasing the personal emolument. Those are the salaries and allowances has grown by 1,500,000,000. So that is why former Minister Ninenka thoroughly to tell us exactly whether Imanta Modo recruitla as a staff, Nimbekata 30% increment and allowance increment. We need to know those things. I have this fervent belief that Gambia should improve in terms of salary restructuring. But the cost of living in a source of income and because if you look at it thoroughly, the government realize la back after Gambia no what is the annual a daily fish money, the cost of bag of rice, tuition fee of your student, electricity bill, water bills, will be factor and structure the salary that will commensurate with the realities. But as the government, even 5,000 kata, 10,000, even 15,000 dollars, you know that it's over 15,000. So you look at the inflation of the Kenya, it's not possible. So when for a corruption of first time this in the system among control. So you have a problem already, but now increment let's go in for a permanent solution. And no you be for now, we never call you back na complete appetite to take loan. We problem only sending Hong
sorry, Honourable, you're not
in passing.
Okay.
No, somebody is calling, but I'm going to say.
Somebody is calling. Okay.
So, I was very much interested, as far as this Nimbango is concerned, we try in as much as to look at any war, but also we look at internally how can we develop the Gambia. So, but generally, I believe we need to have somebody who will have the political will to change.
Thank you very much, Honourable. No question, Jamal Lesotho, when it comes to this budget, but maybe no colleagues in Fanambe will tell because you have breakdown. So, development side, imo for Malu Jelneve, how many percent will not development side, but in the second question, the Munatila, after Dunsa Tanya to William Co. I told Fanang Honourable, it is the 5th legislature, it has been in jail. This domestic borrowing yo fole dum tol famante famo inite mun ka diamon temmetali ka would discourage because kabiri EU yemol pledge 1.7 billion euro for institutional reform adama baro ye bang ay amaoke EU natil ibulo muta atata with this low road projects akatali with domestic borrowing dum the domestic borrowing ala interest rate is very high if I'm afraid ya for jam but I told ka budget dole approved even the 5th legislature. But I told government batala daminto. I told Bukawo Yininka, even Alkalol from the Juro, I told Fanayo approved num. Kabialia approved. Alkalol from Pudia Jo was a problem. So I told Fana Alkabodi told approved without, Almala Dokoki, Alnanta Kela Levulo Muna Pulka Gamianul, Kafintika Gamianul Fahamundi. Konyunu Kamu Ibekodo Tala Minto. What is very important because right now this 30% increment yemunfo kodo abebola mintole the budget is 52 almost 52 billion 52,900 and something I think so yami atol fana buka mistake ke alka budget tol ta alke approve without failing to ask kodo abebola mintole. That's my second question.
Okay, abarka bake Mr. Jawara Mina former question the development component. Okay, development component in the GLF, yalom budget on flag, GLF and donor funding. GLF framing fund constitute is not more than 15%. It's around 15%, 15-14%. GLF component. But whether we for the action now, sometimes it development budget soto, but when we come to disbursement on monthly basis, okay, we are seriously banking on donor projects, money along with they are championing the development agenda. But how are these projects designed? Because all the projects, if you go to health, there are projects. If you go to education, project will be there. Ministry of Finance, project will be there. If you go to agriculture, but how are they designed? The project will be on behalf of the Gambia. All the grants and loans for the Gambia, they are meant for the Gambia. That's why new project also designed now. Operational costs are up to 60 to 65%. That is beneficiary commission. At the end of the day, after the end of the project, you only see series of vehicles. When you go to certain project, people go for secondment. If you're a land ministry, they go and join the projects. Those projects will control okay. So that will create a lot of problems. And the development of champion camp. But we have counterpart science and mother agricultural budget will do the counterpart contribution government from DLF component. We tried now give it back, and what has been submitted and we will allocate because already we project already they don't mind to close it up and there is good control, but at least there is a fair deal of allocation. But other sovereign institutions are still suffering. No problem on the I don't follow PE affect. PE no affect. You are talking about the closure of the project. On employment of the Bango Kanyami, one problem. The second question is important, and I agree. Sometimes at our level we are part of the 6th legislature. We look at the sources of budgets. It can also mean that sometimes we also are subject to rectification. And no rectification can debate and seriously we make sure that we enhance the process in which it should be done. But sometimes for now, it will you need the simple majority to pass them. Sometimes you go against it, but it's going to be very difficult. The majority said yes, it will go. But don't bring canal. You rightly said the marriage was very sweet, but very sweet cannot wrong. It became a problem. Even in the UDP Kambaban, we lost 8 of our members that joined. And this they form an integral component. They are decision making matter, we are always at the lockerhead. But eventually we have to try. The most important thing now that we have to see Gambia as one. Gambia they will take a right decision. But to be very honest, the decision from that you are not activated. And all decision that can confront only the from Oparandika. When I think to be very much honest, I'm part of the parliament who have done a little bit of development, but the structure was recognized by the parliament. And you cannot shy away from that because you are representative of the people, you are bound to be criticized. This was a major problem here. You are right, even whereas we are scrutinized decision making. Because now that President Konyimuna Minister Daniel the minister is always right. It's always a problem. You must take it because I'm a government MP, I will not oppose the government. So people are going to work at a problem. Citizens has to be a check on the government. Even whereas my political party, I will oppose. Because there is no political party that owns the Gambians. Right? The Gambian political party Gambia remains and the citizens remain. So citizens' supreme interest should be catered for. It's unfortunate. I was part of the 6th legislature. We take some decisions that are favorable, we take decisions that are unpopular. When you will regret, history will judge us favorably or unfavorably, depending on what we did. The same things that are now we have to be careful. If you look at me in the floor of the parliament, I'm very much concentrated on the area of the interest. Because we don't want to, because the people you represent, in fact, representation of Manjoko, we are demigod. It's perchance I became a member of parliament. So Brikama South, I'm not the most educated, I'm not better than anybody. People trust me, they have the confidence in me, that's why I was chosen. So that is good.
Jërëjëf Honourable Lamin Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Mr Baboucarr Mbodj Mr Mbodj Honourable Sanneh lim fi wax bari na naka nga gisee lim waxagum ak lan mooy sa laajte.
Waaw jërëjëf maa ngi nuyu déglukat yi maa ngi nuyu nekk si panel bi yëpp waaye balaa maa wax ma congratulate Bura ak kii nii apply second demonstration went well because I'm not time to review go and I saw it. I'm impressed. And these are the things in need and then accordingly and with dignity and respect. Congratulations, guys. Wow, my new senior deputy B. Thank you for coming. Man nak dina baye gaay ñom ñu féto affaire budget bi waye man dafa am ben question bo xamne itel na ma torop ci itel na nit ñi torop tamit because nit ñu bari dañ gom ne parlement bi ni doxut parce que ñi ci ëppa we voted the wrong people ñi ci bu yow bu ko gisee ne yow la ñoo wax because yow kenn nekkuloo fa waaye dañuy ñi si ëppa liggéeyuñ ba tax na nguur gi mën a def lu bari lu ñoo def without the intervention of parliament because parliament su doxoon mën nañoo stop lu bari léegi li ma laajte mooy ñi nga xam ne liggéeyuñ ñun ñi nga xam ne ñu leen fa yóbbu naka la ñu la daaxee because during pour xaar beneen 5 years ñu ñoo toroxal dëkk bi di yaaxal si dëkk bi di dimbale président bi si loo xam ne jaru ko xam naa ne loi bi mu ngi fa is called recall waaye dañ ko war a enact fu nekk nii liñ bëgg a mooy yéen ngeen seet naka ngeen a defee ba nga xam ne loi boobu noonu dina taxaw before ngeen bàyyi parlement loolu mooy laajte bi.
jërëjëf Mr. Mbodj. Go ahead, Honourable.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Mbodj. You asked a very important question. I can't agree more with you. You are perfectly right. To be honest, if you look at the recruitment in the parliament, you will be surprised. Some of them even regretted why they brought in some people as members of parliament. And in fact, to an extent that the expectation of the Gambian, we have to do our job and live up to expectation. It's true, there was a recall clause, it's still in the parliament, but the process is not there. We need a legislation to guide the process for it to be done. But when you talking to a parliamentarian, and our major problem when it comes to legislation is difficult in the sense that government, most of the bills that are coming that are enacted into law, most of them are government bills. So they conceptualize it, they go and draft it in a way where they will pass it to the cabinet for it to be approved, and when it is approved to the cabinet, the gazette publication is done to be advertised for 90 days before they bring it. And the drafting, the gazette publication consumes a lot of money. The government will use taxpayers' money to do that. Okay, when they bring it, it's our responsibility to, after the first and the second reading, we commit it to a relevant committee to make a background check by identifying stakeholders that will take you through the progressive nature of that bill. After you report to the parliament, we debate on it before we go into the consideration state, close by close, part by part, and eventually third reading. But if the executive don't do it, we as parliamentarian can come with a private member bill. But a private member bill has two major issues. If it is margin from the opposing end, it's very difficult to pass it simply because the other side of the parliament, the majority side, will not accept it because they believe that that is all what we want to do. Those changes are meant to disrupt the government. For example, there was a bill on the Public Order Act bill was brought in by Honourable South to change Section 25 and Section 5 of the Public Order Act. But it was unanimously rejected. Another one, at least to empower the local government from Sanneh, it was unanimously rejected. I also had an intention to transform Brikama Area Council into a municipality so that with that range we can access other donor programs, especially the thematic area, to bring and invest into the public sector of Brikama Area Council. But coming from me would be difficult because if you are looking at me at the opposite end, it's going to be difficult. But now, the gazette publication, who are going to do the legal drafting, and that is also very expensive. And this other parliament, if you want to come out with private member bill, is the parliament put budget, they put budget for that. But for us, we have a smaller economy, and this is our problem. We are yet to be there, but I know if these are done, that will help us to bring that provision and do it so that people that put us there, whom we are accountable to. If we are not performing, we should be. That is the essence of representation. You are perfectly right. But that was a problem since we are confronted. Making legislation becomes very, very difficult. And to be honest, you are right. Exactly. People are not happy of what we are doing. Because some of the issues that we should take a major decision and stop it. But unilaterally, it becomes a problem. And again, you remember the draft constitution was brought in, 2022 draft constitution, which was highly consultative, committing 116 million to consult Gambian in and outside the country. It was rejected by the agreement from a few parliamentarians. Even majority for us went in for it. But the bar is raised because that's a constitutional provision. Section 226 sub 2 B of the 1997 constitution is saying you need 3/4 of the members of the parliament, that's 43 of us, should vote for yes for that one to pass. And it was killed there, and we have all this problem. So it was unfortunate. So major decisions will come, you find it difficult. But to be honest, as far as we are concerned, we try to muscle, because I am chairing the Standing Committee on Public Enterprise, and I have a national interest to defend that. Because we have 14 state-owned enterprises that are under my purview. This include NAWEC, this include GAMTEL, this include GCAA, Civil Aviation, GIA, this Gambia GNPC, the ferries, and the GPA. All of them are under our purview. We are responsible looking at their annual report in terms of presentation and consideration. Reports like financial statement, management letter, and activity report. That issues of adverse findings, we look at it. But currently, if you look at the interest of government in privatizing those arms that are really doing business, because these SOEs are there to provide service for the Gambia. Not only service, but qualitative service for government to access them at affordable prices. But if you bring in private sector, what the private sector does, whatever they spend, they want to maximize it in a form of, in a form of profits. So the buying price, the tax that is levied on them, they factor all those things and put their profit. The end users, the citizens suffer. So that is why I look at Gamtel. They want to 60% of the fiber they want to privatize it. Even though I am challenging it, they brought in Euro against GIA, and that has a gram handling component, which is security sensitive. So all these things are happening. We are seriously confronted with a lot of issues. And Gambia, if you look at Gambia, to be very much honest with you, I think we have to come together on a common platform and avoid all the differences and look at the Gambia and salvage the country. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Mama, follow up your question, because you raised the issue of financing, for example, like a private member bill. I understand lawyers are very expensive, and having an office to do research for you will be very expensive. But here is my proposal. Instead of your development fund bi ngeen ko jël di defar ndox di defar li nga xamne government bi ñoko warona def, and you guys should fight to make sure government do it. Why don't you guys take that money, ask for that money to have it as an office development fund nga xamne fund bu ñëwé office bi will do research, you employ people, you create employment, you employ people to do research to help you do your work better. And I'm sure with the knowledge you have, definitely you guys can come with something more tangible than putting up a borehole here, borehole there, and maybe street lights here, street lights there, because that's not why we elect you guys. We elect you guys because we really want something tangible to change our lives for the better. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, it's a very good idea, and I respect your opinion. But I want us to understand one thing, more especially when you come to, because our primary function is to legislate laws that will observe me and you as better human beings, better Gambians. That is our primary function. We allocate the budget, and we are responsible for conducting oversight on the executive and all the sister institutions. Again, we also have an advocacy component. The representation and advocacy component is also our mandate. But now, in the fifth legislation, we fought seriously to make sure that the parliament becomes autonomous. Because we are concerned in a lot of ways. We're supposed to go for an oversight function. We don't have we don't have funds to be mobility to go around the country. It becomes a problem. So that was something else that we were really confronted until we came and we were able to be autonomous. Sometimes, currently, we have what we call constituency development fund, so that the people can have a kind of visibility as far as the parliament is concerned. But how can we do that? Sometimes, currently, as we are speaking right in November, next month is December, the year is ending. Our constituency development fund is not even around. We will develop programs. You want to do certain projects, but you cannot do it because it's not available. The finance will tell you we spend a lot of money on OIC here and there. You go to any ministry, they are constrained. I'm telling you, today I'm coming from a budget pilot. So this is still a problem that we are confronted. And payment of this 11 billion as a deficit will also concern us. And that is why there are significant cuts from other ministries. So these are some of the issues. But what you are saying, if we are able to have that, we need to have an office in our constituency. We have support staff that can help us in research, that can help us, because all what we are delivering at the floor of the parliament, we do it ourselves. We have to make a research, come out with this thing strategically, but parliamentary question that we are going to send to the ministers, we have to look at them. So we are confronted with a lot of issues. What you are saying, it will help, because if our legislative mandate, instead of government coming out with government bill, we can also come with private member bills. If the room is there. So this is a very important solution to empower the parliament to make sure that we engage the Ministry of Finance. We are not going to accept any budget if the finance minister failed to come out with a chart of accounts for us to raise this money there to take care of legislation that will empower for the benefit of them. You are right, to be very much honest.
jërëjëf Honourable Lamin Sanneh. Honourable ma bëgg laa laaj rek mbiri land policy bi dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa jaaxal Gambien yu bari ndite yàgg na ñoo wax ne di ngeen indi a land policy pour ñu mun a régler mbiri kër yi ndite mbiri land mooy li gën a jaxasoo si dëkk bi ba nga xam ne ñu ngi samp kër si ay industrial areas di war a jël yenn buildings yoo xam ne mu ngi war a nekk si industrial areas di ko indi si residential areas so things a ngi jaxasoo ba pare mbiri laan gi mu ngi cause lot of problem ñun ñu bari ñu ngi see jotee ba pare ñu bari ngi jaaxle boo demee si court si kees si fa nekk si mbiri laan bari na lool te yéenay suñu lawmaker si lan moo tax bantey amun a land policy.
jërëjëf question bi is very important. To be very much honest, I like this question. In fact, for me, I'm a strong advocate of land policy. What is happening in the Gambia is very sad. I was in the fifth legislature. I was part of the local government lands and ombudsman committee that was headed by the Right Honourable Amul Nyassi. We were there. We went and told the whole country to look at land-related crime. It's the next coming bomb in this country, and if it is not managed properly, this can resort to a serious uprising. Because you don't have any policy. We were saying, in fact, in both 2020 and 2021, they will tell you, I went to the minister, let's put in something there for us to start working on land policy and cadastral mapping, where our land will be divided into industrial, residential, and agricultural. But right now you have land developers, they are not regulated. They are encouraging into agricultural land, residential land, and we know the most unfortunate part of it. Gambia depends entirely on the land in order to dig boreholes. And the greater part of the population are in West Coast and KM, Congo Central. Do you know what is even happening? I told you that it is under me. Bakau and Fajara Belt, the three boreholes have been decommissioned because the nitrate level is above 14%. If you dig, you are going there. And that's why they are getting their source. And there is no land banking for future borehole drilling in order to supply us the needed water we need. You come to Brikama. There is a community in Brikama. Tamana alone, we have about 22 boreholes. You look at all these forests, both Yambai and Furia Forest Park and Kabakita. We have boreholes all over. So what is even happening? We're going to bring there is serious iron content. So the two boreholes at the commission, they are getting it from Busuranding and part of Brikama Tambal. You go to Bansan, they cannot still use it. You can see iron all over their water. It is brown. And up to today, that is not resolved. Because there was a performance audit on water production on industrial growth areas, urban and peri-urban centers. So I told the whole country, when they came, we look at the report, and we involved it, and we discussed it together. In fact, they told us they are responding to some of those audit findings. We went to verify to see. We went up to Bese, where the boreholes is even situated, is used as a dump site. We have to fight to stop that. So we engaged Nani, then Nani was there at the end. We discussed a lot of issues. Because now, because of inadequacy of Nugget pipeline, people are compelled to dig boreholes in their compounds. That you don't even have the way you need to treat that one. Treatment of that water is important. It doesn't have chlorine. You draw from the source to your tank, you start drinking it. You say this is very nice. You don't know whether it has contained iron or nitrate. Because where there's human settlement, the underground water also flows. You can be contaminated with nitrate and iron. So this a serious problem is not available. Even the borehole we are digging, how are they treated? So these are some things. And now, the issue of land has gone to the borders. I heard from the southern part of Brikama. There are serious crises in Brikama, Sanneh. That is the border village, where we have two alcalis. We are in the level of border crisis. 2 months ago, I was there with the security officers, the two ministers for the security, both for interior and the defense minister, to engage our Senegalese counterpart. Because I told them, one has to look at this critically. How prepared are we to go into border demarcation to avoid encroachment? So these are some of the things that we look at it. I said in a parliamentary question, the then minister asked me, they have written to the British government to look into their archive, whether we will see the map of the land, so that we can use that to demarcate. But right now, there is a contentious area in that area. Part of the area where we believe this is the Gambia, the Senegalese are also saying this part is Senegal. So that we agreed is now what we call a buffer, and there is going to be a joint patrol. So we asked them to work on the roadmap to start demarcating these areas. And that's the secret behind that scramble over this area. The geological report shows that we have deposit of oil in that area. If the Senegalese move and they are moving the GPS from one place to another, we all know that area. That's Carton Belt, the Carton River that comes to Dasla, Bimbaya, and Octobadura. They are all part of my constituency. And if you come to another problem, district boundaries are problem. You come to Combo East and Combo Central, Brikama South and Combo East. There is a place, Busura and Talokoto, there are serious crimes. In fact, my people fought seriously. I have to go to hospital to buy medicine for some of these people that were seriously, brutally beaten because of land crisis. So they brought in security tentatively. These are problems until we took the bull by the horn to seriously allocate. If the donor partners are coming, they can help us to have a serious land policy. And this land policy will even attract investors to come and invest into our agriculture. Because if not, our agricultural land, we will not have land to feed. You have Indians coming into the country buying the land. You have the foreigners. You can't any start party. These are problems. That is why we need to have a serious policy about land. So last month, I went to the Minister of Local Government, I had a debate with him. I told him all this stuff, but he also showed me things that the ministry is confronted with. But he swear that already they have agreed with the World Bank and UNDP to embark on this thing. It's coming. Currently, I think consultation is on. The draft is on. It's at regional level. People are looking at it. But when I told him to fast track them so they can come to the parliament, we have this law to save this country. Because the next crime that the Gambia is foreseeing is land-related crimes. You are quite right. These are problems. And because of these estate developments, people are getting into every land and selling it, especially Congo. We suffer a lot. You are right, and I agree, and I'm very much happy you mentioned about this. For me personally, though I'm not in the local government, but I'm pushing at personal level, engaging the PS, and in my every other debate, these are some of the issues that I'm talking about. Thank you.
jërëjëf Honourable Lamin Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal li ñëw si apply Sanyang apply ban laajte nga amalaat Honourable Sanneh.
Thank you Alay Saleh. Honourable Sanneh if at all we the Gambians are banking on you people. You know, the source of our income is based on tax-based economy. 23.9% is donors on grants. That's what is put into our budget. So Gambia, with such a situation, you can allow Adama Barrow to institute new ministerial offices. Minister of Education, higher and the lower. Why can't they be one ministry? Minister of Works and Road Authority is one ministry before. It's Yajame time he changed all those things. You come to NDA and Minister of Environment also, we have similar problem there. If at all we are crying for the living of our citizens, with such a situation, why can't we be caught spending? But the truth of the matter, Gambians are not reading between the lines. This is the problem we are suffering. Alna tonya fonyoe, isains na banko didano, yal nda palimino kono, amanka waltala alla patiul leje, atala Gambia leje. If at all that's the truth, you are there for the Gambians. After election, you enter the parliament, you are there for the entire country. Why can't you say the truth to one another? Alna tonya fonyoe. You're not sorry to Dr. Banja. Dr. Banja has been prosecuted for corruption. But the almighty Lamin J of IEC and his cronies, they sat on our millions. And the sad part of it, they transfer some of the funds to the private individuals. That shows that the 2021 election is fake. It's all been looted by Adama Barrow. And only 5 people hijack our whole country. 5 people. Adama Barrow being the leader of the conspiracy, the Chief Justice, Hassan Jallow, Dawda Jallow, Momar Cham, and the Inspector General of Police, in collaboration with our parliament. Because we are not putting Momar Jai to account. Momar Jai should be waiting in jail now at this moment, obviously. Because all of you are now shut up. Nobody is talking about it. The whole country, after paying a price. But the matter of it, now I come to the another point of it. 98 million is paid to GFA. 30 million is paid to GFA. 7.5 million is paid to GFA every year. All these millions are paid to GFA, and still now our youth man, our football is demonizing every year, and football is health, economy. We have all this in football. Now Gambia government, Adama Barrow, with Bakr Baji, we see Minister of Sports is been gone down, no report is been given, and we had nothing from you, the parliamentarians. These are the points you people have to cry out to we the Gambians. Al fintality am banko dingoli. Sa yin salon min be caring na katon ba dira men salon. Bal ya melin ka albi be mal fam feje ni million be kadu na banko kan han kabi femmanna. Abaraka.
Abaraka bake ablay. Ela ni kuma kama diata ni. Tonyada mal kolefo. Min bije tonya is very unfortunate. Okay, you follow me from community aligned is very important. The creation of this non-self ministries as yet. It's a Banaka alignment. How Ministry of Basic and Secondary Higher Education? What's a manual? As a manual. The new creation of day is only there for political reason. And that is under the executive mandate letter. And they are not subject to parliamentary approval. But the minister of a parliamentary committee should also call the president. But I'm you see, the problem with the parliament phenomenon background. 99.9% of the laws in Uganda support the president. The president has every right to appoint the 22 ministers without any consultation. Only permanent secretary, only consult the PSC, and who on the PSC? Public Service Commission. The permanent secretary women appointed, they are all under the president. The PSC for established. You go to the state-owned enterprises, the MD and the board chairperson at Lake they appoint. You go to the security heads, the Inspector General, rather they work from the ombudsman, the IEC chairman, you talk about the CDS. the immigration. All these people are appointed by the president. So has the degree of power, in as much as he appoints them, he can sack them. When not until to an extent that we find it difficult. I mean, one thing. These are things Parliament should act as an authority. But parliamentary supremacy was a problem. And we have a legislation of Fanala. It's the same parliament becoming used to reject it. So full understanding of water, we have to work on seriously. But to an extent that I believe this level of government, we are all contaminated with the virus, unless we target educational curriculum. If we can bring in subject called nationalism, we are target at toddler stage where we bring in a breed of Gambians. They will start respecting Gambia as a national. Nationalism will be inculcated at the toddler stage up to any level, and also the constitutionalism. But all of them, there are many as said, FPAC is doing, and currently I have generated 2 reports, the 2021 report from the state-owned enterprises. I should table but not this committee because I need to validate it. But even the recommendation and the resolutions we made, it is difficult. Why they are gradually taking it? Because a lot of impress me they are gradually paying it. I mean, some of them will but no one put them like it should come to the IEC. That is why IEC was never audited by the Auditor General. Auditor General need to be empowered. Currently, the Auditor General, the act has been reviewed and is coming to the Parliament. I know the Executive Federal Direction. There are a lot of things that we need to change. The Auditor General should be empowered to so charge. If you audit anybody you found one thing, you should so charge. Well, you can only investigate and report, you cannot do anything. So I'm bringing the people in Educator. Only IEC again. But both of these projects that came in a form of loan and grants, they are not audited. They are reporting directly to the donors. And once you take a loan, the loan is binding on us. So we have to make sure that people that are responsible be accounted for. What I'm looking at is so that the audit can, Auditor General Department can improve upon capacity, especially in terms of human resource, so that they can do. And in fact, some of these auditing areas that are very technical, they outsource it to independent audit firms. So it can be therefore one long the truth, and this is the country we have. This National Assembly will at least partisanship should be told. But remember, National Assembly is the house of politicians. If only politician just goes there, either by election or by nomination by the president, who himself is a political animal and seriously partisan. So in Tanzania, you are the opposing end. You have a different way of transforming this country. You know there are adamant, this is what we have and we want to maintain that. So new differences create a lot of problems. Unless we are united as a parliament. It's a government of Africa, we can do a lot of things together. But you go to other places where parliaments are very powerful. Of recently, I went to a lot of areas where the parliament can look at our own standing orders. Sometimes they can come and tell us inconsistent statements. Even though sense of them becomes a problem. Because you need the number. No number that and you know that we are pro-government, we will maintain. And pro-government is more than the opposition. And they also have allies. Parliament is like that. The government member of parliament and their allies are too many, more than the opposition. So sometimes when we come to the issue of making a decision by the majority, they always triumph. So we make the problem multi and we are unable to do. No, we are speaking. If you concentrate on agreement director, most of the Canada, if we have specific instrument that we are dealing with as far as our other paper is concerned, we talk about issues of corruption, we talk about issues of these anomalies, we talk about the human sport. It's a problem. The problem is also that not every individual is academically sharp in class. Notwithstanding, we have a skill to survive. That skill can be any of the sporting disciplines. Like football. Football has transformed from a ordinary entertainment to one of the most lucrative industries globally. You look at how the European economy is revolving around football. So it's a problem. And people who are not there, they are depending entirely on football. That's like a failure. Because if we are going to renovate, the most important aspect in the movement is the tough. If you cannot have the expensive players, you procure them at a rate of $80 to $90 million. In a ground where they are suspected to be injured, where it will cost them a lot. They will not. So the coming countries, not the Gambia, even our government players, they are also playing clubs in Europe and other places. So the CAF and FIFA are not happy. How long? We failed to qualify because they refuse to do the diligence. Okay, every ministry, you have the right to conduct that supervision, monitoring and evaluation. With JFA, you need to know these things. That the most important element of developing our stadium is the grass, the ground where people are going to play. So, after you look at the infrastructure just to attract lip service theater, it's a problem. And even whereas as a committee, we can advise the executive in the form of recommendation and resolution. But eventually some of them are not adhered until we take the vote by horn and become one parliament and take a universal decision to hold the government accountable. That's the only time we'll be able to get the right result. We needed and you actually can fine. And I know you have a lot of trust, but actually to be very much honest, the Supreme therefore are not happy, and most of them are not happy. They are genuine. We have genuine Gambians among us. This is the country we have. Today you are in the parliament, so tomorrow more than energy. But what can we do to make sure that we work together to get the Gambia we want? I know gradually we will get there, but it needs a lot of sacrifice. Thank you.
That's it. Sorry, sir. That's it. When Arabaro can order 98 vehicle SUVs, each SUV is $12 million. How many hospitals or our environment can be changed out of 1 million, 12 million from one vehicle? And you, the parliamentarians, are approving that. Come out and make press conferences in front of our parliament building, my dear brother. Formulate yourselves, speak to the people. If not, we will be in darkness. We call people to know, to scrutinize you people. Even recently, the EU delegations is at your parliament there, but nobody is speaking about it. It's all about the 2021 election and the time limit of Adabaro. And the people dying, our youth man dying through the bag way to Europe. These are the factors they discuss with Sidinjai of all people. But you people, if you don't speak out, we can never know. We pay people to collect information. If you don't know that, let me let you know that. That's our job.
Okay, thank you so much, Abrai. I really respect. You are right. First, this Fulfillment Center, especially for OIC, this is a budget outside the parliamentary appropriation. But you mean for the approving end, it should be solid because the OIC was a complete institution of its own. And when I when there was this agreement, economic generators should go to the line ministry, and when they have their own account, they should be accountable to. For a lot of things get up. The Model Center Parliament was not consulted. But now the other vehicle for parliamentary ministries would be a part of the budget that we approve. But one thing that especially coming from the corner, yes, we have the German delegations that are here. I happen to be part of the people who enter Germany. It's a joint committee, the minister and the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Parliament. When they are to talk about the plight of the migrant, especially the German, we met with the Gambia Association in Berlin. We met with the Gambia Refugee Association. Last secretarial, they came from Stuttgart and other areas to have an engagement, give us a detailed in-depth about the situation of the German jail. So, in fact, from there, we had an engagement with the Interior Minister, with the Foreign Affairs Minister, the Immigration. We had a lot of discussion. So, but what they were pushing, this is where we have an issue for a deportation. So, because what is happening, you call them illegal migrants, but as far as we are concerned, it's your right because that's how you see it. But for us, these are economic migrants because in hopes to do illegal, that's why they went on a deadly journey through the Mediterranean Sea to Europe, particularly to Germany. But many was Sabu because most of them are denied a visa to go to the country. And so another order is in photo. The biggest problem in BJ about the migrant issue. Most of these people, they don't take permission from you. It's a family corner. They don't inform you we are going through the back way. You can only hide when they are stranded in Libya or Yemen, or they need something from you, a kind of funding to help them. But most of them, it will a major asset to embark on this journey. So no one can actually Burundi now. Some of them, they have a lot of psychological problems. They start killing people. They start killing their parents and because it has already it's very unfortunate. And secondly, it's not good because the level of disgruntledness in the Gambia is so high. And it can lead to anything. That could be uprising in the country. And that can make our political status completely unstable. So definitely, we look at it, how do we provide this thing? We integrate. So as far as they are concerned, they were 17,000 Gambian German, but 14 are okay, they're normal, they are contributing to the economy. But the 3,000, they are people fuel deportment because some of them are not law abiding, some of them are selling drugs here and there, and they're from Gambia. But same thing, I don't think, and we made it very clear. In fact, they are going back today. The whole of yesterday, I was with them at the foreign ministry. Then from there, I also went to GIZ, we went to Caritas, the type of support they can need. But even with that, but we cannot give you the assurance that these people will be deported. Because it's difficult. But there are job opportunities in the world, them provide them skill training. But some of them, to an extent that these are our Gambian, we have right to receive our own Gambian. So and we have to do everything humanly possible. We need some people, and even if we need any support, to integrate them into the system. But to be very much honest with you, is serious. Even they are coming from our constituency. Constituency in Brikama and Sateba. We have a family, most of the father. When a ship capsized, most of the father. Even 40 days, it was very, very, very pathetic. We seriously struggle, we empathize with them. So, and no amount of talking. And then they deport and they look for money back. So, this is something where we need a dimension whereby we have to talk to one another and come out with a strategic approach. And the best approach is to work on sensitizing the people to have an understanding. Not everybody who goes there will be able to make it. So these are some of the issues we come from. But to be honest with you, we cannot be a party to the issue of deportation. And finally, it is calling for more, especially when you come to government. If you look at it, they are an executive. Executive has a mandate to implement, and that is why they bring in a budget for us to approve. But in the approval, to even censure a minister, even a president, we have the right to impeach the president. But that's a non-starter here. Because it's made equally, the president also has the power to dissolve the parliament. So, but what is important, are we doing the right thing? You are right, we should be together. No, they are not taking in there, especially bringing Izunatana. We talk to one another and we are able to understand. No. There is nobody who hates Adama Barrow, and we are not looking and being Adama Barrow for nothing. President Barrow has a responsibility to deliver to the people, which is very important. We are talking about major national development plan issues per sector blueprints. So how do we get those things? We have to hold him accountable. And the woman to call now, but there are a lot of proposals that are going on at political level. So we look at the problem with. But anyway, we'll try. So long we have an understanding. And in coming for them, the absence of communication is very unfortunate. You have to pay people to give you some information. And I think, but try and get the parliamentary link, because not every activity now is live. People can have access to it. But coming this type of engagement, if you can engage with the parliamentary, you get more information and will be available. But for me, I'm available at any platform to discuss, and I will give you my candid opinion, a frank discussion. I'm not going to defend the parliament because I'm a parliamentarian. We have weaknesses and it has to be said. How do we improve over these things? Everybody's responsible. So thank you for the question.
jërëjëf Honourable Lamin Sanneh. Honourable bala ma laa laaj rek mu am rek lu ma bugg a wax. Honourable yow gis nga dëkk bi ni moo demee lu bari doxut Gambia te dëkk boo gis dañ soxla loi ndigte loi dafa nekk loo xam ne lu important la waaye boo seetee Gambia ni moo demee ñun ñi ñu ngi wax ne dara doxut si dëkk bi ñun ñi ñu ngi wax ne corruption gi dafa bari ñun ñi ñu ngi wax ne amul security crime dafa bari waaye li yëpp di xew benn question rek moom leen war a laajte ana lan mooy li nga xam ne moom la suñu lawmakers yi di def ñi nga xam ne ñooy defar loi yenn façon yi loi la ñoo war a defar pour ñun ñi am security pour corruption gi mun a deñ si dëkk bi nit yoo gis nga Gambia dara doxut soo demee pour toppatoo just birth certificate pour nga toppatoo ko rek problème la soo bëggee toppatoo building permit laajal anybody koo xam ne mu ngi build di toppatoo building permit léegi ñun ñi they prefer to go and build without having building permit because soo demee pour apply building permit place yi nga war a jaar ak ni mbir mi di yàggee jéggi na dayo ba nga xam ne ñu bari den di discourage te sooy toppatoo building permit soo génnewut xaalis bribe leen duñ ko toppatoo demal indi Kombos anywhere in Brikama nga seet ñaata nit ñooy sampa néeg te amul building permit because the people feel frustrated ñeneen ñi dalaa ne ma ne demal rek nga sampa because ñii soo demee di ko toppatoo di nga fa yàgga ba pare nañ la laaj xaalis bu dul xaalis yi junne ñu ne dëkka duñ ko yóbboo nii Gambia daal dafa mel ni dara doxul Honourable ma bëgg laa laaj li ma wax lan mooy si sa gis-gis ak lan mooy si sa tontu.
jërëjëf Salou Diagne dëgg man kontaan naa pour ma nekk si discussion bi and I want to emphasize I really appreciate this. You ask a very good question, but I will give you my opinion to be very much honest with you. People are right to be discouraged. Nothing is working the way it should be. To be very much honest with you, I keep on saying, we should make us a parliament. We don't own the country. The president don't own the country like the ministers. The country belongs to the Gambia. That's the General Assembly. You vote us for a purpose because we sold an idea to you that we want to do this thing X, Y, and Z, and we are convinced based on that idea. You voted us to do it. We should not sit and wait until the election year and we want to change the scenario. You have to monitor and look at the trajectory, whether there is a predictability for us to achieve what we promised the Gambians. If that is missing, and you monitoring it, it's good for the country to moderate of life, the theory of Benthamic calculus. It's important. We cannot wait because if you allow us to complete the term, there's going to be a problem because the amount of damage cannot be easily recovered. But what I'm saying, to put things straight and put this country in the position, let us forget about tribe, let us forget about political parties. Let's look at Gambia and change the Gambia we want in 2026. And the country is at a crossroad. To be very much honest with you, there are a lot of information some of you might not be privy to. But we that are inside are privy to a lot of information and we are talking. But sometimes if you talk, people politicize it. because he's from an opposition, they are only there to criticize. And there's really no opposition. Anything that is abnormal, you do constructive criticism. Anything that is abnormal, you have to criticize. So the government to make sure that they fix that one for the Gambia. But coming 2021, whatever we are doing is Gambia, we have to rescue the Gambia. Maybe in 2026 it fails massively. But this time we have to do it for better and for a generation on board. So that is why we all pray for us to live up to 2026 presidential election. But we have to look at a credible candidate and seriously work with us to change this country. If this country cross this end, Gambia will be sold.
Why, Honourable, ma bëgg laa laaj rek yow right now yaa ngi Gambia uur na ma ne saa yu ne di nga dégg ñun ñi di wax ne corruption gi dafa bari si dëkk bi uur na ma ne saa yu ne di nga dégg ñun ñi di wax ne ñun ñi amul security kaaraange amul si dëkk bi crime dafa bari right now mooy wax yow tey am na benn 20-year-old boy koo xam ne is from Talinding den ko rey right now mooy wax yow police yaa ngi investigate case googu leen moo da cases rente gi dafa bari si dëkk bi corruption gi dafa bari si dëkk bi so yéen lawmakers yi am soo ne yéen xam ngeen lii dégg ngeen ko yéen a ngi koo gis yéen a ngi koo dunda every day waaye moom nga laa laajte Honourable ndax yéen a ngi jël ay jéego ndax yéen a ngi jël seen matuwaay pour indi luwaay yoo xam ne dina wàññi corruption gi defar luwaay yoo xam ne dina tax ñun ñi am security are you not worried because yow am nga ay doom am nga jabar am nga ay mbokk are you not worried nit ñi léegi filatun safe at night time kër goo dem guddi dañoo tëj bunti kër yi ba pare caabi seen boppa this was not how Gambia used to be 25-30 years back even during the time of Yaya Jammeh Gambia melutoon nii ma bëgg a xam rek lan mooy sa gis-gis si li ma wax.
I'm also very frustrated when it comes to this issue. What you said is exactly the truth. But we have already enacted a law, the anti-corruption bill has been passed. And until today, we want the commission to be established to start working in order to work on these areas. And this never-ending investigations are so stupid. People are killed like this. And even in my area, a shopkeeper was attacked. You know Brikama? It's in my constituency. A shopkeeper was attacked and was killed by people. And in fact, there was running back and forth. Even to get the body was a problem. Because it was with the mortuary, they said they have to conduct post-mortem to establish. Another case. What are you going to establish? A never ending up till today, nothing. You ask investigating, we haven't seen anything. And I think we are also already aware of the parliamentary motion that seeks to inquire the petroleum problem in the country. That is accusing the issues of corruption, bribery and corruption, and tax evasion. We are the ones handling that one. And the trend in which we are seeing is we are not yet done. Though we are extending, maybe our next committee session will finally conclude and report. But these are things that have been happening. And if you ask, yes, we are going to do it, but we need a specific budget line to build this commission, the anti-corruption. Never ending commissions that have been, the TRRC was being, the local council commission, the Jammeh commission, and look at what is happening. The level of corruption that is happening. You look at it. You will establish a commission, they will be ready and report to you, implementation becomes impossible. So all these things, I think to address these things, to be very much honest with you, Senior Sanneh, I know you have been fighting for this country. And I really appreciate your passion to change this country, which is important. But finally, I am very much optimistic we'll get there. But 2026 is coming. Let's pray for us to live to witness that one. But we have to do a concerted effort to make sure that we rescue our country. If we change the country with the right political will, we'll be able to get all these things. In fact, there's going to be complete transformation. That's what I believe in. So that is why we are worried. Even us, we are not secure. Like me, people cannot come from Brikama and go to the mosque. That road has been abandoned at night. We have a lot of ceremonial presence. We have a lot of foreigners in that area. every activity you think of is happening there. I went to the IGP, we had a lot of discussion. The patrol team will come, they do 1, 2, they are gone. Sometimes people will even tell us, currently as I am speaking, the before yesterday I received a lot of calls. Some of these people said at night they are subject to a lot of noise pollution. They cannot even sleep. There are crimes all over. So, and a lot of killing has been rampant in the country. We are not secure as a country. But if you said this is how the whole world is, look at the pro-government, how they'll be speaking when it comes to these issues. We are very much frustrated, to be honest. You are right. But I believe that let's look at it this coming election and make sure we rescue our country.
jërëjëf Honourable Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Mr Mbodj lan mooy sa mujjanteeli laajte li fi jaala bari na li Honourable Sanneh wax tamit bari na lan mooy si sa gis-gis ak ban laajte nga ko amal.
Sanneh jërëjëf maa ngi la gërëm definitely xam naa ne affaire gi métti na waaye ñu ngi leen a gën a encourage pour ngeen gën a takku gën a liggéey man li ma dee jaaxal mooy the amount of corruption bi nit ñi di xoote si dëkk bi the role of the parliament is to control safeguard suñ future doom yi suñ future set yi ñu nekk soo ñu duna di sell waaye ñu bari daal den tey am talking about collectively soo waxee dañoo ne parlement ñoom nekkaluñ fa nekkaluñ ci nit ñi seen bopp lañ ko nekkal ak président bi léegi lan nga advice nit ñi because ñu bari xamuñ lan moo nekk parlement xamuñ ban façon fa liggéey moo fa nekk lan nga advice voters yi yow soo advice voters yi ban façon nit moom lañ war a tànn pour yóbbu ko parlement loolu mooy suma question.
Yes, that's an important question. First, let me make some clarification with respect to the parliamentary functions. You see, corruption can only be detected if there are audits. It's audits that reveal corruption, the type of reports that are presented before us. So, but by law, at the end of every fiscal year, the first quarter, every institution should submit your report for the auditors to audit within that quarter and submit it to the parliament for consideration and possible approval. Some of the report has to be rejected to go and review it. So, but like as I told you, I am chairing Standing Committee on Public Development. The report we are dealing with is 2020-2021. I already concluded 2021. I should have been on 2022 and 2023. But in fact, some of those reports, most of the 2022 are ready, but 2023 are not yet done. So you look at the backlog, if some of those things are overtaken by events. So that is why we are even in serious contact with the Auditor General Department to seriously work to make sure that this thing is done. Let's create a department, head of directorate to deal with specific area so that we can audit at a time and come to the parliament for us to detect what anomalies went wrong, how can we advise and sanction those people that are culpable. So those are the things that is happening. But you are dealing with reports 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It's very unfortunate. And some of them are still appearing in their prior year reports that are unresolved. So when you come to the type of the candidate that I should advise, you know, we know one another. You see, one thing about leadership is about who is contented. A leader need not to be greedy. You have to be contented. Know that you cannot be Mr. Be all, do all, and say all, and you cannot take everything. That's why in leadership, there are abilities, there are benefits and privileges that are given to these leaders. But a leader who has a vested interest in transforming a country from point A, that you have to enhance the life and livelihood of Gambia by generating and developing our agriculture so that we can put the food on the table for ourselves. Two, how do we secure Gambian and Gambian properties? How do we bring in respect and a real serious people in accessing public facilities, not in a form of bribery? You go to some committee office, people will be there, they will tell you no, we are taking breakfast. As if they own those things. We need serious civil service reform. In doing so, we restructure. And one thing about this, corruption can be minimized if we restructure the salary. The affect take home will take care of our cost of living. Two, we prepare a serious retirement package. The compensation package, if people are due for retirement, you give them enough at the end of the day, because you can be in the civil service for 35 years, 40 years, up to 45 years. So all what you are paying for your social security, at the end of the day, you are giving 2,000. What can you do with that? You are sending the person to an early grave. So that also will look for people to go in for even voluntary retirement. But it's always impossible because you are the breadwinner of that family. You are retiring, and there is nobody to replace you. The cost of living for the family becomes impossible because you know that the dependency rate is very high. And I definitely tell you people outside there who are trying to settle all your bills, working under that cool environment. And do you know how much you contribute to remittance in this country? Without your contribution, this country will be in chaos. As an MP that I'm talking about, in Ghana, is sending a lot. So it's, you know what is happening. These are some of the issues. But how can we also encourage you people so that we can go home, we can be comfortable to come and invest in our country? Even that investment, there are a lot of hurdles you need to cross. All these things can be done if the political will, and this can be by somebody who will be contented. We have to look at it when the time is due. Who are the type of candidates that are on there? Who can serve the interests of this country?
Jërëjëf Honourable Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Mr Dudu Ndaw Dudu li fi jaala nag bari na xal naa sakan tuuti yaa ngi ñëw bu yaagut xawma lan nga jot a déggaagum waaye lan nga bugg a laaj Honourable Sanneh ak lan nga bugg a yokk si waxtaan bi Mr Ndaw.
Well, asalaamaaleykum askani Gambia radio, asalaamaaleykum panélistes yi yëpp ak déglukat yi maa ngi leen nuyu di leen sant yëpp kenn ku si nekk sa tur ak sa sant maa ngi nuyu suñ special guest bi Honourable Sanneh ñu ko dalal di kontaan si ñëwam fii di rafetlu ñëwam fii man comme ni ma ko dee baaxoo di rek xam naa liit naa dugg si trop wax dëgg maa ngi jégal si loolu waaye li ma dee bëgg di laajte rek man mostly always mooy rek ne comme honorable moo he is member of the foreign affairs committee si ni ma ko understandee te démba rek barki démba digga ngeen ne maanoon waxtaan ak beneen MP bu fi jaar so affaire this diaspora representation which is very important ndax gis nañ ne is part of the best practice ndax jamono biñ tollu nii gis nañ ne Sénégal ñu ngi ko am gis nañ ne Ghana ñu ngi ko am gis nañ ne Kenya am ko so diaspora representation maanaam loolu mënta nekk su fekkente ne those in the desk are allowed to come contest election here and those people have dual citizens and some of them and very little amount of them of course will be interested into coming to Gambia for parliamentary representation. However, the diaspora is the nation, and the people there were there for reasons and causes, and that doesn't mean that they should be excluded in any form as far as we are concerned. So we are talking about voting, but also we should consider trying to include them, like to have that inclusivity according to the constitutions, because right now both 97 constitution section 90 definitely exclude, but even the new draft constitution definitely exclude. Draft constitution 2020 bima day wax ne man ne it's about 90%. I'm in for it, but I believe that those are the small amendments you guys want to def or I'm not talking about the Barrow 2024 one. I'm talking about the draft 2020 CRC bobu sax dafa allow the dual nationality to be ministers, but it doesn't allow them to be parliamentarians. So lolu mo won honorable as a member of the foreign affairs committee mom su fekkene laajte wuñ ko fi won su fekkene laajte nañ ko fi tamit maa ngi jégalu ci repeating question bi but ma bëgg rek déggee from honorable
moom ak select committee am naka lañ gisee loolu nga xam ne moom mooy suñ jàmbat ak suñ jooy ci people bi nga xam ne ñu ngi live in the diaspora ak even people who are dual nationality. Thank you.
Jërëjëf Mr. Ndao, I welcome you and I'm very much happy to associate myself with this type of frank discussion. It's true your questions are very pertinent in the sense that you're talking about the chunk of our population that is outside there, and your impact on our GDP is no small measures, contribute significantly. So I will happen to be part of the select committee on local government, land, IEC, and ombudsman. We start the IEC acts to be reviewed. That act is including diaspora voting, and it's also including for us to have what we call diaspora representation. It's important. Yeah, that's like. But the most unfortunate part of it happened to be part of the ABC meeting before this fourth ordinary session, which is the budget session, and we are working from Monday up to Saturdays. We have 3 Saturdays, 3 Fridays that we are going to work to make sure that the budget is passed. And so if you look at the activities are so tight, in fact we want to prioritize. I told them we will prioritize the election bill to come. We are part of the people that has a virtual meeting with some of the diaspora executive in respect to their representation and their candidature, which should be, and that is why, if you look at the draft, it also contains what we call paper ballot, not the tokens. So these are some of the things that was deliberately put in there in order to allow you to be represented. What does that mean? Why not us? A small country like Gambia, and I am fervently in support of that. But anyway, we will take it up. The Foreign Affairs Committee are looking at that, but you know, that is an arm of parliament that is mandated to look at the issue of foreign affairs. We did the leadership and took at it, but sometimes it has some political dimension, because some of the political parties are not comfortable diaspora voting because they will align diaspora to a specific party. So that is why even that one, we told the land and bed of the country to take that bill to them. Some of the provisions are highly contentious because of politics. This issue of diaspora voting, this issue of diaspora representation as members of parliament was highly debated. But most of us here accepted it. But when you come to acceptance, to be part of the criteria to get a voter's card, the attestation from Alkali, an 80-year-old Gambian want to be attested. You don't have a passport, you don't have an identity card, you don't have a birth certificate. So these are things that are very, very serious. But what we are saying, I think we'll send it up. I don't think the election bill will come this particular session, but the next ordinary session in the 2025 legislative year, first ordinary session, I think, because in fact I told the speaker, if it is not possible, if the government can try to bring it under certificate of urgency as an extraordinary session, it will be better for us to single-handedly treat it, even if it's going to be 4 or 5 days, to treat it entirely and go all through the consideration and pass it so that we can address this problem. Because election is coming. The election is coming, and it's going to be difficult if this issue is not addressed. So you ask, to be very much honest, you ask a very important question. You are right. You are right. So the issue of dual citizenship, as far as the representation is concerned, one thing I want to believe that we have to look at it. When we come to parliamentary representation, it's a sensitive position and a strategic position. That is the second arm of the state. A state that has the supreme oversight. So you cannot be conflicted with any other country. So that is why it affects parliamentarian. But ministers, it affects them to have dual citizenship. But that can also be debated, and we can bring in pros and cons and debate over it for us to have the same wavelength in terms of understanding, so that in our approach we can be unanimous. Thank you.
jërëjëf honorable Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Jibril bu yàggul nga ñëw li fi jàll nag bari na waaye ma bëgg a xam rek naka nga gisee waxtaan bi ak ban laajte nga amal honorable Lamin Sanneh.
waaw jërëjëf ñaari téléphone la amee maa ngi doon déglu ci beneen bi man du ma noonu de waa jërëjëf waa Alaaji Saliou di la sant di la gërëm Ablaye Sagnang Baboucar Mboy suma taalube bi Doudou Ndaw ak honorable Sanneh bala man ko mbalim fing fona buradi ba moo nekk on le 46 right waaw kontaan naa trop maa doon dégg waxtaan bi ma bëgg a dellu rek ci li nga xam ne loolu la Doudou doon wax léegi nii mooy diaspora voting bi man dama foog na soo gars yi di ko bañ a pass ñuy ko block all the time dañoo afraid challenges bi nga xam ne moo nekk si diaspora bi for our effectiveness our efficiency ak our level of understanding loolu moo dee tax dañ bañ ku leen compete te loolu man dama foog ne dafa negative because ñun ñëpp ay Gambians lañ ñu bari dañ jógee Gambia to pursue higher education outside ñu bari ñu nekk ministre foofu noonu soo seetee ñoom itam the same lifin ngeen lañ jël pour génn ci biti dem uti liñ bugg a ba delluwaat mu liggéey rek kon fekkee ne Gambians yaa ngi outside and they are competent enough pour ñëw pour liggéey si ñoom ñuy afraid they are so afraid man loolu laa ko gisee ne they gonna have challenges bu fekkee ne they level the playing field te we are all Gambians kenn gën ñoo nekk Gambia so dañ fi génn one reason or another but dañ bëgg a ñun itam ñu ñëw pour participate I'm not talking about myself I'm talking about Gambians in general so dañ leen war a jox seen due diligence dañ leen war a jox seen rights yes loolu moom seen right la ila ñantoo leen pour yaa dina pour ntol fana mu banku dingol te pour nin lafta nala pour ka doo koo ke jaaye sonia a sonia tal bulu ñaame na ñanta sonia lan tol bulu wala ñaam lafta men bela nu ninga be soto nun Gambia ten no mote fendi la banko kan andu ntol ye meo men soto kanati banko kan there's nothing that going on in the country ntol man bulo dundi dami so therefore why do we have to compromise nte ma jeko fang is a compromise it's a fight that we must take off the diaspora. Senegal election on Saturday Janne kunun. Here in my state, they voted everywhere. Munati na wolbe vote lan tol Gambian on man vote no. For what reason? I don't see anything. This is not something we're asking. We are demanding what is belong to us. Honourable, I'm very sorry because I call Balafa water back. You know, I just want you to elaborate on that, please.
Okay, thank you so much. I really respect person, and it's important. As you rightly said, this is a right that belongs to you and it should not be taken. But what I want to believe, I know the political status changing in the Gambia 2026 will not have been done without the diaspora intervention. Let's come together and work to fight for this thing so that we put it in our election bill. And you come and vote, or they bring you a box there, you vote there, and your people also come and contest. So we have to create a constituency for diaspora too. There are Gambians like us, and in fact there is no place like home. And I know the time and stress you are subjected to when you are outside there. You are Gambians, you went to it and look for some greener pasture, but the final destination is the Gambia. And you cannot be discriminated. You are quite right. I am 100% with you in quest for this. And in fact, we have that position. To be very much honest, as far as my party is concerned, we don't compromise diaspora issues. And we are pushing. So, at parliamentary level, we are also engaging seriously, especially in respect to some of the independent members of parliament, independent candidates, and some minority parties. We are discussing to talk to one another. These are our own people. We are talking about today, it can be you. And these people are the drivers of this country. Currently, if you look at our economy, it's construction and service that is taken care of. And who is doing it? It's the diaspora. All the construction that is taking place is by you. It's contribute a significant of there is the carrier. Is the biggest contributor to GDP, more than even agriculture and tourism. So you are equally important if you can also be represented in the parliament. Other countries are doing it. Why not us? So, in fact, this is a must. We have to have a common position together. We fight this. Each and every one of you are from your constituency. Come together, talk to your parliamentarians. When you come to this issue, let's support the idea of diaspora voting and diaspora representation. The law is us, because when it comes at the committee of consideration, we can change those provisions and make sure that we bring in a provision that will give you the opportunity to vote as a Gambian. Why should you be discriminatory? And the constitution should not be discriminatory. You are citizens of this country. This is the country you have. So let's look at that. I really accepted, and that's the truth, and it's the whole truth. For me and my team, we are ready to push this, and together we will get there. If you can also organize and start the way the 2016 revolution went, the same way we can do it. So that is my own candid opinion. Thank you.
Jërëjëf Honourable Sanneh fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw rek si Bura di ba dal di may Bura mu laajte bi mujjee bu Bura laajtee ba pare su ko defee ñu may Honourable rek mu wax lépp lu mu bëgg a wax waaye until then Bura go ahead.
Jërëjëf Alaaji Saliou di gërëm ñëpp again Honourable ngay kontaan baake dinaa make like 1 or 2 minutes comment then ma laajte question. So because I'm going to reflect tuuti li nga xam ne wax nañ ko fi pour gën a indi Honourable attention am so togetherness boobu noonu muy wax boobu noonu baax na trop waaye Honourable I'm not sure whether I can ask my question in Wolof naamira yesuru akamo understand it pongata manika kamuta
no go ahead Bura wax ko in Mandinka.
So Maninka, okay,
go ahead.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, Honourable lafta comment mun kala walem ni ajibe nying alagi sali ye mun fajang aning Babukar Mboj ayena tile ko 5th legislature ite beni jere alini bilo mun pass pour député wol ni mun ye bay ite fintire la ite ejera place ite fole la place la waye masibo nati molene because alma nati ko ila constituency munye kati ofali wasiri kolno so akango watu nyomo yo almela moy molla munyalo ko yewo yaje ko wasimasibo latino dinwo masibo dunta wale kono tek so ni nata foda fanambera attention nati la nyimbilo mun nata recently finance minister ya nati nyadi anin luwa manta so Fabakary Tombong Jatta kay apologize ali continue atul finance sonto wala donc alka section 152 mum fo nyama bari section 75 ko fana ya fole nini mo nata mu ya ko ay kuke mu ya ko anin luwa manta altol la lodula nanta kala nyaaji le je wo fana beje le section 75 manati la attention pour ye fo na jube bi ko Fabakary Tombong Jatta mo jamal ba kadafi kaniko amala dokoki because temanya na folo ko e apologize bara tul fana la karola akamuka ko alla do ko al nanta samala level mulla woman taraka ke walatina Babukar Mboj ko e ko falte officio yele la mu yana ko molbal ma ko ilale pour kalma ko ni nata alla do ko la karola bi ko akamuka ko kudol aka kanal male dum man sakunda fana akamuka ko aka game le play atul ya ko lo me kasle atul mu lo me kasle so ya jile ko alla fahamo not fahamo famo but some of you people al buka research ke pour kal fam prepare before coming na keta below nati before you people so al buka ta ka research ke wala tina ni al fay dulata dulong al kata so ni ajibe abla isanya fanan ka ya foyne ko munatina al buka finti al ka protest ke abaw na kita ite ila frustration yo fo janen tol ya moyde bari tol fanan Gambia no banku dimol la frustration mo fanan ngo fo jane ite fana yo moyde so wala tina ikombe na together bari ni ngaji ko atol fanan albukam finki albukam mamman pour kam molla attention nati so mol ba lon no la nyaaji akam go atol fanan alla funko mo safa ko alla lo nyaadal amam bambang wala ya tina nganyum mum be fo jang ni tiaro ni corruption dinni wal kata back we implementation manna ni ajibe science ite fon ya lo niko mechanize agriculture wala be kiri do itebe committee tole so dum go fanan ni karo fon lafta na no wala bari man time soto bari ni nata tangara la karola foreign office yete be that committee le again bari yajele ko yete fama bota party yo munto people like Ibrahim Diba ye bayle because il involved in politics yajele ko Bamba Mas ñol yewol be bayle involved in politics sumpu kude ñol ani Rambo Jata ñol wol be kanali kana politiko ke baroye atol ñaabe wala du yete be ñin committee tole munatina no question is munatina ite al naminan tangara kumandi ka faye ko atebe manya munna ayo bula because mun yaro no koy kaki karadola ni wakata president baroye bay mun yaro no ko wal kaki ñin karadola aye bula je donc atol bu kan noise create al naminan tangara fama kumandi ka kanyin tandala ko ñim mumbe kering ani luwa manta so ontela miro wala tina baroya nyaadu mol la mun diata ayake nta fama preso group le kono nga protest kumandi jandi bari kabi nga protest kumandi nte ngani yo muntinu wolem ko people like Halifa Sallah yena people like Dabo yena people like Mama Kande yena bawo mbeka ko kilingole kumbo wolem 2020 draft ko sonanta nalale bana jibe wol be man finti fama pour que audio de la kayle mol kumandi ko alta le ni protest join because ni protest mbele la kum na député wol ñe encourage le pour ye carte o fay pour ni draft constitution yena amanke to la fault wo karadola le they are minority but wo be manke so no question is monatire altol ibuka tangara engage namina namina jede naketa keta yemma koy bari fali tangara kumandile nun ka nyininka abeni manya munna ka president boro makoy karadola mu yana ko anin luwa manta du mota fola ko ima tangara malong mota fola ko president boro ima long bawo ngani mo fulol mu ñu tofo ye Bamba Masting Ibrahim Diba ñol la letero ye kabiri be fayala ya tali le ko itol involved in politics du ma ñam so what about the other side, Honourable?
Thank you very much. Ila ni ñinen karo be na baka ne ku bete bala ñinen ka follow ni kiaklo to parliament la proceeding na ndon fana we operate ndon fana ka doko ke on a policy direction. We have what we call parliamentary standing orders. So standing order charge mean then we send in parliamentary question. The minister londile ni singe nyinga ni na mandra kere. It's true parliamentary question kata minyalan ko Ibrahim ñol bayta because iko dia partisan ko la fundita. Bari ñu president ñu fo le sambaye ta mulan ko Rambo and Fatuma Gamba babies and it has been seriously criticized. Then nakata I feel from South Africa there are no problem. Foreign office for problem Jamal le budget member Mutani you are aware of it. Minketa Cuba we are aware of it. What is happening in South Africa this year? But now you get because what is happening president is at liberty to appoint. But these are constitutional powers new at later. Yajele. I said, Taki is different. I want to challenge. I don't know look at the government and the challenge. We took it to court. I bought me one time. I did somebody a permanent secretary. At least you want 3 months experience of the abroad. That's the type of legislation we have. We told Tangara Naka Sila Tangala, you are the policy advisor to the president. When you come to foreign service funds should not be partisan because these are we need citizen diplomats. We are in our relation with outside, the benefit can come to the country. But so that is unfortunate. The type of laws we have, the power that is bestowed with the president. So through the appointment. So we are doing, in fact, demonstration of Halala Bekela. There are a lot of demonstration in Dake. But as a parliament, as the second arm of the state, no doesn't allow us to permit. But we can speak like the floor of the parliament. We send the question, we bring the ministers. But not if you come down from beginning of ministerial censure at the Betiala bucket. Because even though for them these are problems, you talk about a lot of issues. We are going to the parliament, and they have seen we have a problem in the Gambia. Currently, Halifa has a book, one of the members of Kumandi, Nakatara Gambia. We have the same committee, project monitoring, and in the replace, he was the former chairman of the Standing Committee on Public Enterprise. But I didn't about the constitutional building. It is very clear. The problem will begin in 1997 has, we still have degrees in the 1997 constitution. And it's a source of our constitution. So, if I like them issue the legislative process, so what are the 70s they want to bank on constitutional provision. But in the 5th legislature we are part of it. The first mistake we did was a major mistake. Bring matter, the interest is we have Yajame has gone, let's reunite Gambia with the rest of the world. The legislative government concentrated on teaming fracas plan. It was almost impossible. So section 91(1)(d) of the 1997 constitution, that was purposely put in there to allow the parliamentary members to be completely controlled by political party leaders. So we have seen issues whereby members of parliament were sacked from the parliament by the party leader. People that assume political authority through election like the president. Because the president happened to be the party leader of certain political parties that are in government. So all this is happening. But we found a mistake with the bill worker, and it came through a private member bill. The former minority leader, Honourable Jallo. Some of us found we are not even happy with it. We do want to consultation, but more than it was a progressive one. That one was put in there to control the members of the parliament, to dictate them what to do. We was under here by the party. We know issue today. But there should be another introduction for us to make sure that people are answerable to their electorate never perform if they call you. They recall you. So some of the things we are importantly seriously. We are unable to completely foresee these things. It's almost impossible for us. Therefore, if we embark on all these things and we are able to manage, because to be very much honest with you, spiritual bango but the back of we are not happy. We are in the system not happy. As member of parliament, the citizens are not happy. The bango we are all not happy and we are suffering seriously. These are things me and importantly, and as alcoholic. Sometimes we are constrained by some of the laws. You could have to understand that. People, ministers, we can censor them. But censorship also is talking about a number which we don't have. Because at political level, you know opportunity. Okay, you talk about Fabakala issue. The illegality of tabling the appropriation. This was conceived by us as a party. We had a lot of causes and we had a lot of research current. We are banding on section 152, sub 2. But saying we have to reject it. We are reject. What the president can do, you can bring in a supplementary budget that can be operated not more than 4 months. At the end, they can retable it through section 151, sub 4 of the 1997 Constitution. But then it's talking about the appropriation, which means the minister here and the minister is unconstitutional to table it at that time. But we cannot also continue. Well, if we want to bank on that, which means there will be no budget. So all the people, the civil servants are going to be denied without a budget, and that could be very serious. We ought to be in the administration of people because of unavailability of resources. So what we can do is to come up with a motion to censor him. What he made, it was a gross violation. Because when he came, the Minister of Finance was communicated that on the 1st we want to start so that we can have the 60 days, the 60 days of budget to scrutinize. But I think that's because they are talking to the donor partners to get assurance. So Nico Douglas is going to be difficult. But in the process, he was able to talk to the speaker. But speaker should not also do this thing without consulting. And the laws of the clerk are very, very plain to him that if you do that, it is a violation of the constitution. They won't have a meeting. So what we can do It's good for us to continue, but the censorship motion should come. But whether we are going to attend that. Because I remember in the entire Gambia, civil when we come to the issue of financial affairs. So these are some of the problems. But if not both of them, what have we move a point of order so that the speaker can rule. If the speaker rules otherwise, it's going to be mandatory on him if this thing is taken to court. At this moment, he can lose his position. So these are some of the things we are confronted with. We are disturbed in every angle. What if you like, but deliberately there is a conspiracy. You're talking about those road construction of national.
Jërëjëf Honourable jërëjëf daanaka fi mu nekk waxtu bi jaamu nañu ñu ngi fi almost 2.5 hours fi mu nekk Honourable Lamin J Sanneh ñu daldi la may benn 1 minute rek nga daldi tàggatoo askan bi nga def sa closing statement ana fan ngay tàggatoo askan bi Honourable.
Jërëjëf Salou, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the entire Gambians in and outside the country for the tireless effort that we are confronted as a country. One thing I will tell you, this is a problem unidentified remain unsolved, but all of us are aware of our problem that we are confronted with as a country. And it should not be like that, especially those in diaspora. This is your country. If you have it in your way, you will stay here and work here. Gambia is the best place. It's the heaven of the entire world. But the way the political situation are, we need a significant improvement. And to be honest, a lot is happening in this country. And without our collective effort for 2026, there's going to be a problem. Please, let's come together. And I know to bring everybody on board is going to be difficult. But people went, Khalifa tried in the 2026. When you call, people went. And there were coalition. And individual differences were compromised. And we are able to have a coalition team. And we are able to remove an entrenched dictator for 22 years. So how about this? We have to come together for the sake of Gambia, for the sake of our children, and even unborn children. As far as we are concerned as a parliament, we are representing people. What is incumbent upon us is to deliver to expectation. We have a positive legacy. That legacy will judge us life after our tenure. So for me, I don't compromise in my job. But I am appealing to each and every one of us. We are together. Anytime we have an issue, if us who converge in our communities, in our respective families, to resolve. So why can't we be together for the sake of our country? Let's forget about crime. Let's forget about sectionalism. Let's forget about regionalism. Let's forget about all sort of discrimination and come together. We take this beautiful country and give it to somebody that will address our problem. I want to thank all the listeners, viewers all over the country. It's a pleasure to be part of this platform, and it's good that I can adequately respond to some of the questions, but I will do my every effort to make sure that we talk to each other, convince one another, raise the awareness level of one another, so that we can be at the same wavelength in terms of understanding and our approach to regain our country. So I thank the senior Salu and the team and the entire members of this platform that have asked questions, and I respect your views, and I'm very much happy you asked this question. The questions are meant to be answered, and I did my level best to try to make an attempt to talk to you in respect to the question that has been asked. And I really am very much happy, and I want to challenge you, especially you in diaspora. When you come to diaspora voting and the representation, let's come together. We use our constituencies, our communities, talk to people, raise their awareness level. We have the same approach so that diaspora can be part of our electoral system as bona fide citizens of this country. I thank you all, and thank you all for the listeners, for the time that you spent for almost 2 hours to have this discussion. It's important, it's a national call. I thank you all. My pleasure. And I really thank, and I will pray, and I strongly hope this particular advocacy radio station will go from strength to strength in what you are doing to make sure we have a Gambia. I know Sanneh, you will never relent, but sky is the limit, and you are going to be judged for this. Thank you so much.
Jërëjëf Honourable Lamin J Sanneh ñu ngi lay gërëm ci sa waxtu di la gërëm tamit ci lépp loo xam ne séddoo nga ko Gambia ni lépp loo xam ne wax nga ko fii ñu ngi la see gërëm bu baax a baax.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
mbokk yi comme na ko Olof Njaay waxee rek ñu ne àddina ñetti fan la démba ñoom bàyyi tey ñun ëllëg sunuy doom te Gambia bin am kenn duñu ko defaral ku dul ñun ba nga xam ne ñun ñëpp war nañoo góorgóorlu ku nekk bay sa waar def lépp loo xam ne wax lépp loo xam ne bind lépp loo xam ne lu yóbbu Gambia kanam la mbokk yi fii la waxtaan ji dal di am fi mu ne duma def lu dul dal di ëmba lépp loo xam ne Honourable Lamin Sanneh waxtaanee na ko fii ak lépp loo xam ne AG panelist yi waxtaanee nañ ko fii dal di leen ko jébal dal di bàyyi waxtaan ji mu dal di continuer si seeni xel yéen Gambien yéen nit ñi yéen yéenay àttekat yi nga xam ne yéenay àtte lépp loo xam ne déggee ngeen ko fii di leen ñaanal wér gu yaram gu mut sëkk ànd ak jàmm ju mut sëkk te yal na ndimbalab yàlla continuer wàcce si réewi Gambia ba illaa yawmi diin seeni mbokka Saliou Njaay salaamu aleykum wa rahmatullah wa barakaatu waahiru daawaana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin